What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka All Fires, in a world of Twitter scoopsters and industry insiders. It's nice to get the occasional official confirmation. Today's news is just that, coming from a showrunner on the upcoming Wonder Man series from Disney+, who goes a long way in talking about the specific power set that Wonder Man is going to display during the TV show, and actually a little bit of foreshadowing for what's to come. We're going to talk about Wonder Man's power. Is he the new strongest Avenger? And while he might not be able to rival for that title just yet, there's a chance in the future he may be just that. We're breaking it all down, the official confirmations of Wonder Man's power set coming from the showrunner on Wonder Man. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. Thanks to everyone who's been subbing lately and helped grow the channel. Man, YouTube's algorithm has been in such a weird spot here at the end of the year. So all I would say is if you enjoy this type of content, if you enjoy watching the videos we make here, please subscribe. It's the #1 way to support us. Plus, it'll enter you for all the giveaways. All you gotta do is be a sub, leave a comment, stick around at the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this latest update is coming from the source The Direct. They're an editorial that we used to cover quite frequently here at the channel, but haven't covered in quite some time. Either way, they're reputable and have a proven track record. They obtained a brand new issue of the Winter 2025 Disney D23 magazine. And in this upcoming issue, which they got an early copy of, there is an interview with both Andrew Guest, who's the showrunner on Wonder Man, as well as Marvel Studios Director of Production and Development, Brian Gray, and they both come together to talk about Simon Williams' powers in the upcoming Wonder Man television show. And again, these guys worked on the show. This is as official as it gets. Andrew Guest was describing Wonder Man as an incredibly powerful character before saying he has 3 major powers. He has super speed, super strength, and the ability to create massive explosions. He continues by adding that he's incredibly powerful in a way that he may not even fully be aware of, but he doesn't care because Simon Williams really wants to be Daniel Day-Lewis. He's a lot more concerned with becoming a famous actor than he is with the superpowers he may or may have not inherited. We'll see how. He continues and also says that Simon doesn't even know the extent of what his powers are. Simon has these superpowers and feels a responsibility to help, but his main goal is to be an actor. And that's complicated by the fact that he lives in a world where superheroes exist and aliens could come down out of the sky at any moment. Okay, so look, while he didn't just come out and say it, you sort of have to read between the lines here, because super strong, super fast, and being able to create explosions, that's basically an analog to Black Panther. And in the comics, Wonder Man is way more powerful than that. In fact, his power set is absolutely insane, and it is not limited to those 3 things. So while he may start that way, and again, be unaware of what the capabilities of his powers are, and maybe doesn't even care what those capabilities are when they're on their highest level, he just knows what he can do right off the bat, and I think that's better suited for a television show. What he's saying is that his powers go beyond that. He's just not aware of them. He can't tap into them yet, but he will be able to down the road. And when he can, guys, his powers are insane. First of all, he can fly. He can actually go as far as to teleport. He can change his size at will. He can do things that are more on par with Sentry than, say, an analog to Black Panther. So again, he may start on one power set and then level up quite substantially by the next time we see him after the television show, which could be Avengers Secret Wars, or maybe even further down the road and during the Mutant Saga. And he's been known to do a whole ton of crazy things like shoot beams out of his eyes. He has a crazy healing factor. He also has been shown to be able to shapeshift. While he starts maybe on the middle or to the bottom of what's going on with the whole Avengers hierarchy, there are a lot of super soldiers basically on the teams right now, and then there's a huge gap between them and what should be the reverted form of a Savage Hulk and Sentry and, say, Wanda Maximoff if she was still around, and Thor as well. And it's sort of hard to place exactly where Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau are on this list, but they're up there as well. Now, this leads us into an interesting conversation that I don't think we have enough at the channel. The opportunity doesn't really present itself, but it is probably as applicable as it's ever been with the nature of power creep and how the Russos wanted to depower the Hulk so that he wasn't a convenient catch-all for their storytelling in Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. We have entered a whole new stratosphere here with the level of power we've got with characters like Sentry and Franklin Richards, and eventually here with the Doctor Doom. And the truth is that power creep really describes the chasm between the floor and the ceiling. As the ceiling gets higher and higher with Omega level mutants, who's the next most powerful character introduced, the floor stays relatively the same with basically enhanced humans or super soldiers, and they don't have a place side by side on the battlefield. Of course, they do in context, and that's why armies like the Chitauri and the Outriders, they make for perfect battles because basically everybody can line up against them. But now we're headed into Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, and you have to admit that some of that bottom level of power, like Red Guardian, John Walker, it's sort of hard to see what the collective super soldiers are going to be able to do against a Doctor Doom who's not only wielding magic, but also insane tech. And so having a character like Simon Williams' Wonder Man that can be variable, basically start in one place that suits a TV show, start him off slow, and then basically builds his power set as he taps into them, as he becomes more aware of what his capabilities are, will suit the character well, especially going forward, because again, as we enter the Mutant Saga, power creep is just going to continue, and there's going to have to be a way to explain why some of these characters are still involved with the story. That being said, I don't expect a lot of survival in Avengers Doomsday for those who are underpowered, so there will be sort of this clearing of the floor, but you're always going to have your street level heroes, your bottom level heroes, and they may or may not be involved in crossovers, but you got to make it make sense. That's what the armies are for. And then when it gets to the ultimate top level battles, you bring your more powerful characters in. That's what's going to suit Wonder Man very well, because they can level him up to one of those and then keep him involved. His power set will make sense in the future of the Multiverse Saga as this power creep continues. Now, how this applies to the Russos and what they plan to do with any of this, I have no idea. Again, when you're talking about Franklin Richards, it's hard to explain why he doesn't just defeat Dr. Doom and fix the multiverse. Yeah, he's still a kid, but he can project as an adult, and we don't really know the limits of what he understands even at the young age that he's at. So there are going to have to be some sort of just admissions of power levels here, but this power creep is going to be a real interesting trick. And I'm kind of curious to see how they line some of this up. Obviously, Yelena Belova, Black Widow, can't go running at Dr. Doom. She's basically powerless in the face of that character. So yes, they can work together as a team, but man, there's just an undeniable chasm between a lot of the lower level power heroes we've got, essentially the super soldiers, and some of these new characters that are showing up like Omega level mutants. And of course, in the comics, how they've handled this in the past is sort of a triangle where A beats B, B beats C, C beats A, and there's no real clear winner, but in some cases that simply won't work. Yes, a character like Spider-Man can outthink Doctor Strange in the mirror dimension and beat him, but let's face it, Ghost isn't beating Doctor Doom, Sentry, Franklin Richards, or any of these guys. You let me know all your thoughts though down below about any and all of this. Where do you want to see Wonder Man as far as his power set? Do you want to see them amp him up to a full comic level hero? What do you think about him starting off small? And do you think we're going to see him in Avengers Secret Wars? Is going to be part of that story? I'm all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff. Still giving away a ton of stuff at the channel. All you got to do is be a sub, leave a comment, because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. The best way to keep up with the videos has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name is Michael Roman. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Find me on all other platforms under the name AllFires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.